Well, hello YouTube, and welcome back to Cooking with Retired for Life. So today I've got another nice easy dish for you. This was one of my favorites that Mom used to make on a pretty regular basis. So it's called Mom's Macaroni Casserole. So let's get started and see what we need here for this. All right, folks, let's start by getting our ingredients ready. So we are going to need about 120 grams of onion. Now this is just a regular cooking onion that I'm chopping up. Now you want your pieces fairly small. You don't want great big hunks in this. So take the time to cut them up a little bit smaller. All right, so that is all of a medium-sized onion. The other thing I want to include with that is 1 clove of garlic. Again, you want it chopped up pretty small. Put that in with our onions. Next, we want about 170 grams of chopped celery. So I've already got my celery here with the ends cut off of it, washed and weighed. Same thing here, you don't want big chunks. And a good sharp knife helps make this a lot easier. There we go. Well, our water has come to a boil here. So we've got 225 grams of elbow macaroni. We want to give that a good pinch of salt for flavor. And we'll stir that up. And you want to cook this to the point where it's what they call al dente, which is just got a slight chew to it. You don't want to cook it to the point where it's really soft, because it'll just turn to mush after that. So if it's got a little bit of chew to it, it'll actually finish up cooking after you've taken it off the heat and taken the water out. All right, let's get back to our other ingredients. So we want about 120 grams of green pepper. So once you've cleaned out your green pepper, get rid of the seeds. You don't need that extra crunch in there. And I like to take out a fair bit of the whiter flesh inside. So there's half. And what does that give us for weight? That gives us 90. So we're going to use about 3/4 of this green pepper to get our weight. Now remember to keep an eye on your macaroni. One thing that can happen if you don't watch it is it'll stick to the bottom of the pot. Then it'll burn, and then you'll have a mess. All right, let's get this cut up. And the same here with your green pepper. You don't want big chunks. You want the flavors to be there, but you want the flavors to kind of meld in. You also don't want to turn it to mincemeat either. So you can see there that my pieces are about 1/4 inch in square. Now we're going to put that in this bowl here with our celery, because it will go in the fry pan at the same time. All right, that's all the chopping. So let's give this a quick clean up here. Next is we're going to need some diced tomatoes. So I've got a tin of organic diced tomatoes here that we got from Costco. Now they're not quite fine enough or in the chopped form like this, so we're going to get a power tool out and give them a little whiz up. All right, so as you can see here, it's fairly big chunks in this, and that's a little more than what we want. All right, let's work this up a little bit, hopefully without making too big of a mess. So we're not looking to make tomato paste, we're just chopping it up, and that's pretty good right there. So you can see that that's fine now. There's still a little bit of chunkiness to it, but not too much. So that's ready to go. So let's check our pasta. It's been in here for 10 minutes now on a pretty steady rolling boil. So we should be really close. Not quite there. All right, let's see where we are with our pasta. We should be there. We've been on for 14 minutes now with the occasional gentle stir. There we are, 14 minutes. Elbow macaroni is a fairly chunky pasta, which is why it takes so long. But we're there, so let's get this strained off and back into the pot. So one of the things I like to do to make sure my pasta doesn't stick together is just throw a little bit of olive oil in here and mix it in. And that'll help stop it from getting all clumpy when you actually go to knead it. So next we're going to prepare our fry pan here. So we'll throw a little bit of olive oil, about 2 tablespoons in there, and let that get warmed up. So next we're going to add about a tablespoon of flaked red peppers. That looks pretty good. Now we want to do what is called blooming these. So we're going to give these just a little bit of time here. Not much, maybe 30 seconds. Let them soften up and start releasing their flavor into the oil. That's pretty good. Now we add our onions and garlic. That'll go in first. Stir that up a little bit. Okay, so that's just been about 30 seconds or so. So now we are going to add in our celery and green pepper. So what you're aiming for is to get your onions to the point where they're soft. So they'll become kind of translucent. So you need to watch for that. Keep stirring. Don't let your temperature get too high. You don't want to burn things here at this point. All right, so we have been on a medium heat here for about 3 minutes. You can see our onions are starting to get a little bit on the translucent side. Okay, there we are. We're 3 minutes in. Let's add our ground beef. So we got 1 pound of ground beef there. So we're going to keep breaking this up and cooking it until there's no pink left. And even then, there is going to be some moisture in the bottom of your pan. So you want to let a lot of that kind of evaporate off while you're cooking this. Gonna add a pinch of salt and some fresh ground pepper. So you can see there's a bit of moisture in the bottom here of my pan. So we want to lose some of that. So we've now added in our tomatoes and about a tablespoon of Worcestershire sauce and another pinch of salt. Let's see how this is coming along. Yeah. Oh yeah, that's good. Okay. We're gonna give that about 5 minutes to simmer. We don't want this boiling like crazy or anything. We just want it simmering for about 5 minutes. All right, next and final step, we're gonna add in our macaroni here. Let's give it a stir and break it up before we put it into the pot. And you'll find that it comes up really easy here because I added that little bit of olive oil in there. Let's mix this in. So as you can see, we're getting a nice full skillet here. So you don't want to be doing this in a small skillet. This is about a 12-inch skillet. There we go. Look at that. That is a thing of beauty. So there's everything all mixed in. Yeah. Look at that. So we're gonna let this sit for about 5 minutes on a fairly low temperature. Let all these flavors combine together. All right, so there we are. You want to serve this with a little bit of grated Parmesan cheese on the top. This is a good dish. It deserves real Parmesan, which is a little more work, but it's worth it. So one thing I would tell you about this dish, after you've finished cooking it, give it a taste and then put it in the fridge and don't have it until the next day. The difference in the flavor is really something. I mean, this is delicious like this, nice and fresh. But for whatever reason, when it sits and you have it the next day, it's just all that much better. Yeah. So, I hope you guys enjoyed that little cooking lesson from Cooking with Retired for Life. Thanks very much for joining me. And if you enjoyed the video, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up. And I'd love to have you subscribe to the channel. We're getting really close to that 1,000 mark, and your help would be appreciated. So until then, remember to stay safe out there, be good to each other, and we'll see you out on the trails the next time. I'm not sure I can wait till tomorrow.